Alrighty, guys. So, welcome back to the next episode of Building My Jarvis program. In the previous few programs, we coded in this main loop where it takes in a verbal response, decides what you said, chooses a random response, and speaks that back to you. If you say shut down, it shuts it down. And if you ask it a question, it uses Wolfram Alpha to search up that answer. In my helper file, which is what we've been coding along with as well, we coded, as you can see, the speech recognition, the text-to-speech, and the Wolfram Alpha section. Not very much has changed in between the last episode and this. All I did was I changed these print statements to be a return instead. And that is because of what we're doing today. What we're doing today is we're setting up a program to allow us to do more stuff in the future. So my eventual plan is, let me just give me some room and I'll explain this. So we have a main loop that listens for your voice. So this is going to be the listener. That is totally how you spell that. That's how it's going. Okay, it was going to bother me. And then we have one that I want to have like as a smart alarm clock. I actually have that programmed mostly. I just have a few things made. It's kind of like the Google Homes. If you look those up, that's kind of what they look like. So we'll have that one. And then I want my computer screen related one. So we'll say computer. Later on, we can add more items, but these are the three main ones. And the idea is they can all speak to each other. So the listener is constantly listening for your voice. So if I walk to my room, I want to be able to say, hello, how are you? And he instantly starts responding. The Google Home one, like I said, is like an alarm clock. It's not going to have as much going on. It's going to be kind of by itself. The computer, I'm making my interface that I said we were going to start this episode, but we'll get into that probably next episode. This will set up for that. And the reason that I need to do this first is because the idea is if I came in and had homework, for example, I could walk in here and say to the listener, hey, I have homework, open my computer browser. And it'll go to my computer and open up the browser. If I was on my Google Home, for example, and what's a good example on that one? Maybe I was playing audio or something. Maybe I was playing music. And I go to walk off. I could have it stop playing from my home and have it play out the listener. So the way we're going to do that is using Socket. This is going to be a more advanced tutorial than what we normally have in here. But this will be something good to learn. So we're going to keep these two, but we're going to make some new files. I actually have my 2 test files here because I just learned how to do this. I will be linking the video that I learned this from in the description if you want to go check that out. But I am altering certain parts of it, such as adding the main loop and giving it the ability to speak between the two different programs. So we need our server. So we'll name it Jarvis server. Just keep it Jarvis virtual server .py. All right, you gotta go. All right, and then we're gonna need another one. This is gonna be our client. So the client would be like our computer or our listener or the Google Home, whatever. The server is going to handle the processing. So we'll do Jarvis client. All right. So we're going to start with the server. And just because, we'll do server. So for this, we're going to need a few files. The first one is socket. I'm not going to show you how to import these. It's the same as the way I've been showing you before. If you don't have it, pretty sure it comes with them, but Yeah, it happens. So import, and we're gonna do socket. Socket. And then we're gonna import threading. And what threading does, allows us to run multiple lines of code at the same time. And that'll become important here in a minute. All right, and that's all we need to get started. So, like I said, I just learned how to do this. I'm running it through the same dude. The reason I'm not just linking his video and being like, hey, I just did this, is because he doesn't go over how to do client-to-client messaging or how to do, what's it called? Or how to like edit the loop. He just kind of leaves it. So that's why I'm going ahead and doing that. Of course, like I said, if you want to watch it, feel free to. Like I said, I'll try to link it in the description. But let's get back to it. So we need to define a header. The header will be the length of the incoming message. In his video, he set it to 64. I believe, if I was reading the description right, 4 is like as big as we need. I think 64 was like 9 quintillion bytes worth of information. But I'm just gonna stick with it just in case I, send a large file. We need to define our port, which is gonna be 50/50. I don't know a lot about ports. I saw some people in the comments saying from, I think they said 1080 and below, those are regularly used ports on your computer. From 1080 to like 10,000 is ports that we could use if we wanted to do something. And anything higher than that, it's like they shut down. I don't know. Like I said, I don't understand everything. All right. I'm also running this program on local Wi-Fi. I'm not running this on an online system right now. That would be something I come and do later. So take that into account. If you want to do it online, there's a few things you'll have to change. So we're going to do our server, and that equals socket dot get host by name, and then we're passing in socket dot get host name. If you didn't want to do this, you could actually go into your command prompt and you'll do what is it, ipconfig, yeah, and we're looking for this IP address right here, which is your local internet access IP address. And you could just pass that in here, but the problem is that changes like if you change Wi-Fi. So this just makes it automatically set to whatever. All right, next we need our address. That equals server and port. You don't have to keep the capitalization like I am. I'm just following along with what I've done, and also this allows, or it kind of shows what's what, I guess the way to put it. All right. Next is format. This will all make sense in a minute as I continue. That's going to equal to UFT-8. And lastly, we have a disconnect message. And this could be whatever. I'm just, like I said, I'm writing what I put originally. All right. So now we have server equals, and this is big server, right? No, this equals socket. Socket dot dot AF underscore inet. If you want to know what these mean, just look them up. I actually don't know. Like I said, I'm going off what I've done. I do know the socket stream is pretty much going to be constant. It's got to do with like that, just telling the computer that you're sending data through the socket. All right, and then we have server.bind. We're going to bind in our address. All right, now I'm going to make a list of clients, and it's going to be set to an empty list. List clients. All right, so we're going to define a definition here, and this is handle client. We're going to pass in con and address. For now, we're going to pass. I'll come back and do them in a second. And now another definition. This is start. This will just start your program. I'll pass as well. And then I'm just going to print a running statement just saying starting server. And then start. All right. So inside start, so let's back up. So I don't need that or that. All right. So this is a lot of jargon. It'll make a little bit more sense as we go. Pretty much what we're doing is we're defining a bunch of values up here. These will get used later. For example, the way socket works is you send and receive in bytes, so you have to decode it, but it has to take a specific length of bytes. So that's what the header is it's a length, and we'll change it in a minute, make it dynamic to where it'll change it as we go. The server is equal to that IP address that I was just explaining, and then the port's what port. So port could be 1080 if you wanted it, or 8000. It's just whatever. So that's your address. The format is got to do with the decoding and such, and then disconnected message is just a message we're going to search for whenever we want to make sure you're still connected. And then server equals server. That's just actually defining your server and binding it to the address right here. And lastly, we have a list of clients. Here in a second, when I start coding, we'll make it to where it appends whoever's joined to the list, and that's going to make it so we can message from one client to the other. So now let's get started with the start section. We're going to start with server.listen. What this does is it allows the server to listen for response. And we could do print, and this is kind of important. I'm using F strings right now just because I'm having some problems with just regular strings. But server is on, and then server. So that's going to print out that IP. I need to do capital server. Server. That's going to do that IP address because you have to put that into your other program, the client program. So that allows you to do that. But all right, next is we're going to do a while true statement. So while it's true, we're going to do con and address equals server dot accept. So this pretty much means if anyone joins the server, these values will get filled in. One's your address. I actually don't remember what this one means. I believe it's connection name or something. I don't know. It's a value. It's a variable. You can name it whatever. But next we have to actually use threading. So we're going to do thread equals threading dot thread. This with the capital T. And then target equals, and it's going to be handle client args. We're going to pass in con and address. Notice that the handle client does not have the parentheses around it or behind it. Alrighty, next we're going to do thread.start. Start. And lastly, print. We're going to do F active connections. This is just for my sanity. And then it's going to be threading dot active count -1. All right, so What we have right now is when it runs, it's going to listen to the server. It's going to print where that server IP is at. And then while it's true, your connection and your address is got from the server when you connect. Then it runs this threading program, which will run the handle client up here, passing in that connection and address and starting it. And then it prints out, all this does is say you have one connection, you have two connections, yada, yada, yada. All right. Now into the handle client. So inside handle client, we're going to do print f, and we're going to do new connection, and then ADDR connected. All right. We're going to do connected equals true. We are actually like doing the whole defining and all that instead of just doing while equals true, just because this allows us to shut it down easier. So, all right. So while it's connected, so what we could do here in just a second, we're going to get the message. We could just pass directly in this header value. Instead, we're going to dynamically make it so that it gets the right length and whatnot. So to do that, we're going to type in MSG underscore length equals CONN dot REVC, that's RECV, that's receive information. Then we're going to pass in the header, and then dot decode, and that format. Like I said, that format's got to do with how it's in 8-bit and whatnot. That's just breaking it back down, or going from 8-bit into something we would be able to read. And MSG, there we go. Alrighty, so next we're going to do if MSG underscore length, and this just means that it is not just blank. We'll do MSG.length, MSG underscore length, sorry, equals an int value of MSG length. Let me zoom in a little bit on my notes. Alrighty. Then MSG equals con.receive, and we're going to receive MSG length, that new value. So here we have our new whatever the length will be, and we're passing that in instead. Dot decode, and still format. And then we're going to do print f, and we're going to do ADDR sed MSG. Alrighty. So next, we just need to break back out of the loop, and we're going to do con dot close. So that is everything on the client side right now. We'll come back and change it a little bit later. Now it's time to start with that was everything on the server side. Now it's time to start with the client. So for client, all we have to do is import socket right now. If we want to do more later, we would. Alrighty. So we need our header. We actually just copy these from here. Header ports. Control C. The format, disconnect, and the address. Control C. The only one we need to change is the server. And this is where I was talking about just having to plug in that value. We actually have to do that here. So the easiest way to do that is to run it, because that prints out your server IP. Remember, this is my local one, so I'm not giving out my like global one. But next, we can actually start coding, or I guess start the actual body of it. So we're going to do clients, equals socket dot socket. This is pretty much the same thing as what we did before. Socket dot af underscore inet. I believe it is actually the same thing. Sockets dot sock stream. And then client dot connect a DDR. Come on, there we go. So that's pretty much trying to automatically connect to the server. Next, we're gonna run a definition for sending a message. MSG. All right, and then we'll do message equals msg.encode. Code. I cannot type today. And format. So that's gonna, whatever you say you want to send, it's gonna encode it into that 8-bit format and prepare to send it. So msg.length, underscore length. There we go. Nope. There we go. Equals the lens of the message, which gives you the length. We're going to do send underscore length equals str msg underscore length dot encode format, and then send length plus equals. So here, so we set this size to be 64. Like I said, I believe that's like 9 quintillion or whatever. If we're just sending 8, for example, we need to fill up the rest of that slot. And that's what we're doing here. So we're going to send a blank string. And we're going to fill that with spaces. And that space can be times open header minus the length of send length. So whatever the length is, so let's say it's 8, it's going to take the header size, which is 64, subtract that 8, and it's going to fill in that space with blank values. All right. Next is client dot send length. Always send the length first. Why are you doing that? Oh, that's why. Go away. And then client dot send message. And we're going to do print client dot receive. We'll do header dot decode format. This isn't as important. This is if you wanted to have a return statement saying like, oh yeah, we received the message. So we're going to do a looping equals true. So while looping, while looping, give me just 1 second. That would have been badly. While looping, we're going to do MSG equals input. This just allows you to put whatever into the command line. We'll say, what do you want to send? Do you want to send? And then we'll do if shutdown. Come on. Shut down. We're going to add space, that's how I am. In MSG, looping equals false. And we're going to do continue because we're going to send the message still. So, looking here, from top we import it, define our same variables as the other side. The only reason we actually hard code the address here is because if I went to a different computer and typed this in, I could still do it as long as I'm on the same Wi-Fi. But alright, then we actually set up the client and connect directly to our server. Then we're going to skip down to this loop. So it's asking you to say whatever. As long as you don't, if you say shutdown, it's going to break the loop, and then it's going to send something to the server, which would say that you disconnected. So that's the send. Otherwise, whatever you say here will get sent to the send message, where it gets encoded. The link gets figured out. It sends the link, stuff like that. So, enough talking, let's run it. So, in VS Code, you can run multiple command prompts at the same time. I won't be doing that just because it can look cloudy, or it can look hard to read. But we start the server, so server is started. What I'm going to do is open up my command prompt, and we're going to cd to the location of the file. Jarvis. And then to run the file, it's Python, and then the full name. So mine would be Jarvis_client.py. What would you? So you can see down here, one new connection, and there's an active connection. So up here I could send, we'll say hello. I'm not encoding. Let's see what line is. This is line in client, and message equals encode. Let's see. The cool thing is you can just leave that running. Message format, yep. Oh, I wish I wouldn't have gotten rid of that now. Message equals msg.encode format. Format equals UTF-8 or -8. Link to message. Code format. Down here. Decode format. Let's go ahead and just run it again so I can get that. Get the line that's from. Okay, so it's line 29 line 15. So encode by format. Message equals msg dot encode format. Up here, format equals uft-8. Huh. That's not right. It's not something on this side, is it actually? So let's kill this. Let's skip back. Alright, connect, true, MSG, receive, decode. Didn't do anything, did I? Nope. Alright. All connected, linked, receive, header, decode format. If length message linked equals the end, message equals the message link, decode the format, print it. Just if MSG, this is going to be the disconnect part. If MSG is equals disconnect the message, we're going to say connected. That's right, connect equals false. That'll just make it so it's not constantly going. Alright, and then close. I don't know why I was doing that. Just try rerun it. CMD. And then we're gonna do cd documents /this 8.0. I'm doing Python Jarvis control client .py. Unknown encoding in line 15. I'm so confused on why that's a problem. Because, like, if I could actually go here, for example, this is my test file, which is what I just did this all on. You can see it's got the same line here. If I run this one instead, we'll do py hello. Okay, so it's definitely something wrong with my actual one, I think. Yeah, I believe it's not the client. I believe it's the server that's having a problem. Which is alright right now, because I'm actually about to change some of it. So we're going to ignore whatever's going on for a hot second while I stare at this to double check. So up here we'll do print new connection, connect true, while connected, message link equals message receive, header decode format. If message link equals the int of message link, message equals con.receive message length dot decode format, printf. If message equals disconnect message, connect equals false. Next would be the close, because everything else is something a little bit different. Check down here, print con server accept threading equals address server accept. Threading equals threading handle rs con threading start print active threading -1 start now. Yeah, I don't know, because I go over here. So this is my original one. This is what we're getting to. I run it. Watch it not work now. We're going to CMD. CD documents Jarvis 8.0 Python test. Let's run Jarvis underscore client .py. Hello. Let's run test2.py. Okay, see, that's fine, as you can see. So it must be something to do with the changes that I made to this. I'm not sure what changes specifically I made that messed it up, but I guess I could let's find out. Let's see how far. Too far. Alright, so we're going to save that now. We're going to come over here and do the same thing. So let's run this again. Or let's look at the difference now. that was the wrong file. No wonder it wasn't working. This one. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Because originally I didn't have this looping at all. So this is why I redid some of this. Alright, so now if I run the original dealio, and I go and do this one, cmd cd documents /Jarvis 8.0, we're going to do test2.py. Not sure why it keeps closing. But this is what it was originally. Could it be because I changed this one? 2048 maybe? Let's kill this one. This is going to be probably the longest video yet in the series. But this is probably the most complicated thing we've done so far. Okay, I'm going to just create a new thing down here. Python Jarvis client.py. Yeah, I don't know why it's giving me problems. It's got to do with this encode right here. Because see, like this one is yellow. This one is not. Why is that? Client, not on server. There's clients. See, that even happened on my original one. MSG.encode. Oops. Sorry, forgot to save. Well, I'm going to ignore that for now. We'll fix it in a minute. So, the next step that we want to do is I want to add in the original main into here. But where would you add that? So, what I'm going to do is come over to the Jarvis main. I'm literally going to copy everything past that command because we're getting our commands from a different source. So we're going to come over to server, and right after this disconnect message, we'll paste it right in. That's going to give you a bunch of problems. I'm going to tab them over and turn this to an else if. So first thing is first, we're going to change command. So I'm going to Control F, drop down to this, and this is going to be MSG, but this is the message. Replace them all. All right, and we're not going to be doing this Jarvis help file, so we could do the same thing. So Jarvis help file.speak and Control F, and we can replace that with, this is going to be con.send. We replace them all. Alrighty. And then we're going to import random. And I'm going to import the Jarvis help file because of the Wolfram Alpha right here. So that's when I had to change the Jarvis help file here to be a return instead of a print statement, or instead of a speak. Alright, so the next thing is I have to encode all these. So we're gonna do random, behind the random choices, we're gonna do dot encode, and it's gonna be format. And I'm just gonna copy that. Anytime it sends, it has to go right behind it. So even that one, and this one, and this one's gonna be that, and we're gonna do con.send that, Control S. So that should be everything here. Now, go back to, not that one, this one. And I don't believe anything changed over here. Yeah, no. Everything stayed the same. So let's see if it runs now. Swap back to the other one. Let me kill him. So now we're gonna run this little start to server. We're gonna go over to the client. We're gonna open a new window and run this one. Hello. Alrighty. Already off on a bad foot. It's still something with line 15. And I don't know why, because it works on my other one. Alrighty, let's look. Did I spell something wrong somewhere maybe? Here, what I'll do is I'm gonna go check this out, and once I figure out my problem, I'll be right back. Okay, that took way too long to figure out what the problem was. It was a simple spelling mistake. Look right here while I go back and forth. Undo. That's not the right file. Save. Alright, look right here. This is what it's supposed to be. That's what it was. See a difference? Instead of UTF, I had UFT. Gotta love that. Oop, that's too much. So, I finally got that fixed. Now, if you run the... Sorry, I need to close my stuff. If you run it, and then run the clients, I'm opening up another thing, I can now send stuff. Alrighty. That took probably like 5 minutes now of me going back and forth. And back and forth. I'm sure save. I don't care. But alright, we're gonna now make this a loop. So while true, tab. So we're gonna do that. If shut down in MSG, we're gonna do looping. I didn't do that. Actually equals false. And then up here we'll do looping equals true. And instead of this, we're actually gonna do looping. We're gonna move this. Enter. I'll take this and move it right there. And then else, just send it. Alrighty. So that's everything over here and everything over here. So now if I run it, never mind, because I forgot to kill him again. Run it. Our server is now running. We can go over to our client, create a new one, and run the client. What would you like to send? Let's say hello. Send back hi. What is your name? I'm Jarvis. Okay. Who was the 25th president? It takes it a second because actually you still use dual frame alpha stuff. There you go. We can do shut down, and it breaks. And if I actually go look at the other one, we can see it disconnected. Alrighty, so now everything's working. Now, if we want to do client to client, that's where we're going to start using that little client definition. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here, and right after we do this, where we define the server accept and get the address, we're going to do clients dot append and con. So now it's going to print a list, or it's going to make a list. Now, for this example, I'm going to set up actually put something here. I actually don't know what this is. So let's see what it actually says. So we're going to start a server, we're going to go over to clients, open a new window, and run it. Hello, just to make sure it's all good. So our con, so you can see con is this really long list of stuff. Let's see, if we do address is somewhere in here. Okay, con is just connected apparently, I guess. Let me actually go look at the server. Okay. Okay, yeah, no, it's this whole thing. So let's kill these two. We're gonna undo this. So we're gonna set it up to send to everybody, because what we can do is we can set values in it. But for now, all I'm gonna do is right after this shutdown one, we're gonna do else if, and we'll do open, like open window, open browser, whatever, in MSG. This could be whatever. So for C in clients, that's the lists, we're gonna do c.send, and we're gonna send msg.encode and format. So now all I want to do is for the receiving it, we're gonna skip to right after this, and we'll say if, let's see, how do I want to do this? For now, we'll just go with what we got. So if I run this, and we're gonna start a new client, this one is down here, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and open up a new terminal so we can run them both at the same time. We'll do cd documents /Jarvis 8.0, and then we're gonna run Jarvis underscore client Python .py. Alright, so we're gonna say hello. So we say hello to here. If I click enter, nothing. This actually probably just threw an error. Nope, it just says we said nothing. So now here, oh, I can't actually type anything. It's because you sent nothing. Wow, you're being great right now. But if I come up here and I say open browser, you can actually see right there it printed out open browser. Let's say open window, so we can tell them apart. Open window over here. This one's gonna be stuck until we click enter. And now we have open window. So you can see they're communicating to each other. let's get rid of those. So what we could do for C and clients, if C does not equal con, we send it. Let's see what happens. Alright, so now we need to open our new window and run this one. We're going to cmd cd documents /Jarvis 8.0. We're going to do Python Jarvis _client.py. Alright, so we can say hello, or just hello apparently. Here we'll say hi, but we're going to say open browser, and nothing prints here. On this side, you can see it prints right out. So that's perfect. So that's sending back and forth. Right now, we're still having a problem with it's not continuing. So what I'm going to do is then pass in, pass, and see if that'll break or continue. This is a little bit of trial and error, obviously, from the forever amount of time of me just Control-C. Alright, so hello. Hey. We'll say open browser. So that's still locking up. I didn't get it over here until I click send something through. Actually, it's all right. It's not too bothersome. And that should just send. I guess I could put this inside a whatever loop, but if I just continue, or maybe I close that one and maybe I make a new one. Does it continue? Yep, it just skips right over that. Got it. All right, so with that, it's basically done. There's some refining we'll do as we continue. But to summarize what we did, we created some new files named server and client. And what we have is a server that runs that gets data from a client in the form of a message, and then it can go through the same main program that we had. We actually just copied it right over and respond that way. And if there is multiple, if you send a message through it and you want to send it to the other one, it can be sent as long as it has the keyword. But all right, that's going to be all for this episode. In the next episode, I should have a fix for those last couple things, and we're going to start getting to work on multiple inputs. I want to go ahead and set up my usual Discord robot version so I can still message it from my phone. That'll be our next episode. So until then, I will see y'all on the flip side.